Something is wrong. What is that?
In a quiet village nestled between the rolling hills of the eastern lands, where the sun's golden rays touched the red earth in the morning and the moon's silver gaze painted shadows across the thatched huts at night, there existed a story that villagers spoke of only in whispers. It was a tale so chilling that even the bravest of men would hesitate to speak it aloud. It was the story of a gourd that wept blood. The village of Abiku was known for its lush yam fields, deep forests, and a river whose waters were said to hold the spirits of ancestors. The people lived simple lives, guided by age-old customs, the wisdom of elders, and the fear of unseen forces that roamed the night. Among them was a young girl named Amara, a spirited child of 12 summers, whose curiosity often led her to wander beyond the safe paths of the village. She had eyes that sparkled with the color of the river after a rainstorm, and hair as dark as the rich soil from which the yams sprang. Amara had always been fascinated by the stories of old, especially those her grandmother told under the firelight. Her grandmother, Neka, was a revered woman, known for her deep knowledge of herbs, rituals, and the unseen. But she also spoke of warnings that Amara, in her youthful defiance, often ignored. One evening, as the village prepared for the festival of the full moon, Neka called Amara to her side. "Child," she said, her voice trembling yet firm, "there are places you must never go, things you must never touch. The spirits watch, and not all that breathes or grows is kind to humans." Amara, as always, nodded politely, but her mind wandered, imagining the secrets hidden in the dark forest beyond the yam fields. That night, sleep eluded her. The moonlight filtered through the small window of her hut, and shadows danced upon the walls. She felt a pull, an unexplainable tug toward the forest. It was as though something was calling her, softly, persistently. The next morning, unable to resist the pull, Amara slipped out of the hut before dawn. She walked past the fields, the dew soaking her bare feet, and ventured into the dense forest. Birds stirred nervously as she passed, and the wind whispered through the trees, carrying sounds she could not quite understand. Then, among the twisted roots of an ancient iroko tree, she saw it, a gourd, lying half buried in the earth, unlike any she had ever seen. It was small and green, yet it shimmered with an otherworldly glow, as if it were alive. Amara knelt beside it, her hands trembling. The gourd seemed ordinary enough, yet she felt a strange warmth emanating from it. She reached out, and the moment her fingers brushed its surface, a shiver ran through her body. She pulled the gourd free from the earth, and to her horror, a dark red liquid began to seep from its seams. Blood. Real blood. She screamed and dropped the gourd, but it rolled back to her feet as if drawn by an invisible force. It's alive," she whispered, her heart hammering in her chest. Before she could decide what to do, a voice echoed from the trees. "Do not touch what is not meant for you, child." Amara turned to see a figure emerging from the shadows. It was an old man, bent with age, with eyes that glowed faintly in the dim light. Who are you?" she stammered. "I am Oba, the keeper of the forest's secrets," he said. "That gourd is not a thing of your world. It holds a curse, a blood curse, placed long ago by those who sought revenge upon the village." Amara's fear deepened. "A curse," she echoed. What will happen?" Oba's gaze was stern. "The gourd chooses its bearer. Those who touch it are bound to it, and its sorrow becomes theirs. The blood it weeps is not just from itself, it is the sorrow of those who suffered before you. Take it back, child, and never let it see the sun." But Amara, driven by a mixture of curiosity and defiance, lifted the gourd once more. She could not explain why, but it felt as if it belonged to her. And at that moment, a chill wind swept through the forest, carrying the scent of iron and decay. The trees groaned, and shadows lengthened unnaturally. Oba raised his hand in warning. "Child, listen. The gourd is alive with anger. Take it to the river before the next full moon, or it will claim more than your fear, it will claim your soul." Amara nodded, though doubt and excitement wrestled within her. She ran back to the village, clutching the gourd tightly to her chest. She kept it hidden in her room, under her bed, where the sunlight could not touch it. That night, she dreamt of voices whispering from the gourd, crying out in pain, begging for release. The dreams were vivid, and she awoke with tears on her face. Days passed, and strange things began to happen. Animals in the village avoided her home. The river near the forest turned murky, and fish died in its waters. Villagers whispered of an evil presence, but no one could explain why. Amara herself felt weaker, as if the gourd drained her energy with every heartbeat. One evening, Neka noticed the change. "Amara, what have you brought into this house?" she asked, her eyes narrowing. I found it in the forest," Amara admitted reluctantly, showing her grandmother the gourd. Neka gasped, her face pale. "Where did you put it?" she demanded. "Under my bed," Amara confessed. Neka shook her head violently. "Child, you must never touch such things. They are not toys. Spirits of the wronged live in that gourd. You cannot contain it here. You must take it to the river, as Oba said, before the curse grows stronger." Amara, however, felt a strange attachment to the gourd. Its pulse seemed to echo her own heartbeat. "But what if it's lonely?" she asked softly. Neka's voice was firm. "It is not lonely, child. It is hungry, and its hunger is for blood." That night, the gourd cried out. The sound was low at first, like the moan of a sick animal, then louder, filled with anguish. Amara, drawn to it, picked it up. The blood ran freely now, staining her hands and dripping onto the floor. She felt the weight of countless sorrows pressing upon her. Faces appeared in the red liquid, faces of villagers who had disappeared long ago, victims of jealousy, vengeance, and betrayal. Amara screamed, but her voice was swallowed by the night. The gourd's cries grew louder, echoing through the hut, through the village, through the forest. It was as if the earth itself wept with it. In the distance, the wind carried Oba's voice. "The river, child. Only the river can cleanse it." Summoning all her courage, Amara ran into the night, the gourd clutched to her chest. The forest seemed alive, branches reaching for her, roots twisting to trap her. But she pressed on, guided by the river's faint silver light. As she reached the riverbank, the gourd's cries intensified. It throbbed violently, and the blood spilled freely into her palms. She placed it into the water. The river hissed and boiled, as if angered by the intrusion. Then, slowly, the gourd sank beneath the surface. The cries faded, replaced by a heavy silence. Amara fell to her knees, exhausted, her hands trembling. The river looked calm again, but she knew that the gourd's curse was not gone. It was merely sleeping, waiting for another hand to touch it, another soul to bind it. Oba appeared once more, his eyes reflecting the moonlight. "You have done well, child. But remember this, some things, once touched, never truly leave you. The gourd has marked you. Its blood is now part of your story, and one day, it may call to you again." Amara nodded, tears streaming down her face. She felt both relief and a lingering fear, as if the shadows of the gourd had followed her home. That night, she could not sleep. The river's whisper haunted her ears, and the memory of the faces in the blood stayed in her mind. In the village, life returned to normal, or so it seemed. Yet, villagers whispered of strange happenings. Crops withered overnight. Animals vanished. The old stories gained new weight, and parents warned their children to never wander into the forest. Amara tried to forget, tried to live as before, but the gourd had awakened something in her, a connection to the spirits of those wronged, a power she did not understand, a fear she could not escape. She knew, deep in her heart, that her story with the gourd had only just begun. And far beneath the river's surface, the gourd waited, silent for now, but patient. Its blood-stained surface gleamed in the moonlight that filtered through the water, and it dreamed of the day it would weep again, claiming another soul, binding another child to its sorrow. The forest sighed in the night, the river murmured, and Amara stared at the moon, knowing that the unseen had already begun to watch her. The gourd had chosen her, and its cry would echo through her life in ways she could not yet imagine. For in the heart of every village, in the soil and in the water, the spirits lingered, and the gourd that wept blood was only their messenger. The days that followed the night Amara returned the gourd to the river were unlike any she had ever known. Though the gourd lay submerged, silent beneath the silver flow of the water, its presence haunted her every thought. In her dreams, it appeared, glowing faintly, pulsating with the rhythm of her heartbeat. Faces of the wronged, villagers long forgotten, peered out from its blood-stained curves, their eyes pleading, accusing, warning. Amara awoke one morning to a strange chill. The sun rose, yet warmth never touched her room. A faint humming filled the air, almost imperceptible at first, then louder, like a song carried by the wind. It came from beneath her bed. Her heart raced. She hadn't touched the gourd since that night, yet the sound seemed to call her name, Amara. Amara. Gathering her courage, she knelt and peered under the bed. Nothing. And yet, the humming persisted. She turned away, thinking it must be her imagination. But in the village, strange occurrences were growing. Chickens disappeared in the night. Dogs barked at empty spaces, refusing to enter certain alleys. And the river had turned darker, as though the gourd itself had poisoned it from below. Amara could not ignore it any longer. She approached her grandmother, Neka, who sat weaving a basket in the dim light of their hut. "Grandmother, I think it's calling me again," she whispered. Neka's hands stilled. Her eyes narrowed, and a heavy silence filled the room. "The gourd," she said finally, her voice low. "It is not a thing you can return once touched. Its mark is upon you. Even now, it waits, patient, persistent, and hungry." Amara's curiosity flared alongside her fear. "But, why me? I did what Oba said. I put it in the river." Neka shook her head slowly. Oba's warning was clear. The river cleanses only partially. The gourd's sorrow has found a home in you. It whispers because it knows you are strong enough to hear, yet weak enough to falter. You must seek answers, Amara. The village holds secrets older than the hills themselves, and the gourd will not release its claim willingly. That evening, Amara ventured out to the river under the pretense of fetching water. The moon hung low and full, casting a silver path across the flowing water. The gourd lay just beneath the surface, shimmering faintly as if aware of her gaze. She felt its pull again, gentle yet insistent, tugging at her very soul. Suddenly, the river's surface rippled violently. Amara stumbled backward. From the water rose a shadow, dark and fluid, forming the shape of a woman whose eyes glowed like coals. Her voice was like the river itself, both soothing and terrifying. "Amara, child of the village, you have seen what others cannot. You have touched what should never be touched. Will you free us, or join us?" Amara froze. Who are you?" she asked, voice trembling. "We are the sorrowed," the figure replied. "The wronged, the innocent taken, the betrayed, the cursed. The gourd carries our story, and now you carry our burden. Will you help us, or will you ignore our cries?" Amara's chest tightened. She wanted to run, but something stronger than fear anchored her to the spot. How can I help?" The water-woman's form shifted, dissolving into the river. "You must seek the 3 stones. Each holds a part of the gourd's curse. Only when they are brought together and offered in truth and remorse will the gourd's sorrow be released. But beware, the path is treacherous. Many have tried and failed." Amara returned to the village, mind spinning. The 3 stones. She had never heard of them. Who could help her find such things? The village elders? Oba? Or would she be forced to venture further into the forbidden forest, where danger lurked in every shadow? Days turned into nights, and strange events escalated. Crops in neighboring fields wilted overnight. A plague of locusts descended upon the village one afternoon, consuming everything green. Villagers whispered about curses and old magic, and fear rippled through the community. Parents warned their children to stay indoors, and even the bravest hunters avoided the forest. Amara, however, felt a growing determination. The gourd had chosen her, and she would not abandon it. She sought out Oba, the old keeper of forest secrets, who lived in a small hut at the edge of the woods. The moment she arrived, he seemed to anticipate her purpose. "You return," he said, voice rough like tree bark. "The gourd calls, does it not?" "Yes," Amara admitted. It wants me to find something. 3 stones, it said. But I do not know where to start." Oba's eyes gleamed. "Then you must be ready. The stones are not ordinary. Each is hidden, protected by trials, guarded by spirits who will test your courage, your resolve, and your heart. You will not walk this path alone, though your companions may not be those you expect." Amara's mind whirled. Companions? Who will help me? Oba chuckled, a dry, hollow sound. Do not look only to the living. The spirits of the past are as real as the soil beneath your feet. And the gourd will guide you. Listen closely, Amara. Its whispers are the map. Its sorrow, the compass. Fail, and the gourd's blood will claim more than just your fear. Over the next several days, Oba prepared Amara. He gave her herbs to protect her from malevolent spirits, charms to ward off the evil lurking in the forest, and a small knife with a carved handle depicting ancestral symbols. This will help you see what is hidden, he said. It will also protect you, if your heart remains true. Amara trained at dawn, learned the songs of protection, and listened intently to the gourd's whispers at night. Slowly, she began to understand its language, not words, but feelings, images, a river of emotions that spoke of sorrow, rage, and longing. Each night, the gourd cried a little less, as if acknowledging her resolve. Then, one afternoon, Oba handed her a small pouch containing 3 seeds. Plant these at the river's edge under the full moon. They will guide you to the stones. But heed this, danger waits at every turn. The forest itself will test you. Amara took the seeds with trembling hands, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her young shoulders. She returned to the river and planted them, whispering the words Oba had taught her. The soil trembled lightly, and from each seed sprouted a tiny glowing sprout. They pulsed in rhythm with the gourd's sorrow, forming a triangle across the riverbank. Night fell, and the forest seemed to hold its breath. The gourd's whispers grew urgent. Shadows shifted between the trees. A soft rustling heralded movement, and from the darkness, 3 figures emerged, neither fully human nor fully spirit. They circled Amara, examining her with eyes that glowed faintly. "You seek the stones," the first whispered, voice like dry leaves. "Do you understand what you ask of us?" "I do," Amara replied firmly, though her voice quavered. "I seek to end the gourd's sorrow." The second figure leaned closer, smoke curling from its form. "Many have tried. Many have failed. Are you ready to face fear beyond imagining, to confront what has been buried for generations?" "I am," Amara said, gripping the gourd tightly. "I will not fail." The third figure, taller than the rest, stepped forward. "Then follow the river. Let the gourd guide your steps. But beware, temptation and deception walk these woods. Not everything that cries is truth. Not every shadow is empty. Trust yourself, and trust the sorrow you carry." As the figures dissolved into the night, Amara felt a surge of courage. The gourd pulsed, as if affirming her resolve. She knew that her journey had truly begun. The forest, once a place of fear, now seemed alive with possibility. The stones awaited her, and with them, the secrets of the gourd's past and the future of her village. The next morning, she set out, walking along the river's edge, guided by whispers and moonlight shadows. Each step took her deeper into the heart of the forest, where the air was thick with ancient magic, and the trees themselves seemed to watch her progress. She knew the trials would be dangerous, that spirits of anger and sorrow would confront her, but she also knew she could not turn back. The gourd's blood ran through her story now, and she would see it through to the end. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with streaks of crimson and gold, Amara paused by an old baobab tree. Its trunk was wide, hollowed with age, and inside she glimpsed a faint glow. She approached cautiously. There, carved into the wood, were symbols she recognized from Oba's teachings. The first stone awaited her, glimmering faintly like a shard of moonlight trapped in earth and wood. Her heart pounded. She reached for it, knowing that this was only the first of 3 trials. The gourd at her side pulsed in anticipation, and in that moment, Amara realized the weight of her task. She was no longer a child wandering in curiosity. She was a bearer of sorrow, a seeker of truth, and the village's hope rested, unknowingly, in her hands. The forest held its breath as Amara touched the first stone, and the night erupted into whispers, shadows, and a chorus of voices that had waited for her arrival. The journey had begun, and the gourd that wept blood was far from finished. Thank you, dear family, for joining me on this journey into the gourd that wept blood. Amara's story has only just begun, and the next part will uncover deeper secrets, greater dangers, and lessons you won't forget. Stay tuned, because when the gourd awakens again, the mystery will only grow stronger. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next chapter of this powerful tale.